Every great journey begins with a single step of courage, a decision to move forward even when uncertainty stands in the way. Too often, people wait for the perfect conditions to start, thinking they need to have everything figured out before they begin. But life doesn't work like that. The path becomes clear only after you take that first step. Courage is not about having no fear, it is about moving despite the fear. When you look at those who achieved greatness, none of them had guarantees of success when they started. They simply dared to act. That first move created momentum, and momentum carried them forward. It is like standing before a staircase in the dark. You may not see the top, but if you place your foot on the first step, suddenly the next becomes visible. Each step you take opens a new possibility, a new direction, and a new strength within you. Courage is the foundation of progress, because without it, even the smallest dream will remain locked in your heart. Sometimes the hardest part is not the journey itself, but the beginning. We think of failure, rejection, or obstacles, and those thoughts keep us still. Yet courage whispers that one step is enough to break the chains of doubt. Once you move, the fear begins to shrink and confidence starts to grow. Think about learning to walk as a child. No one stood up and ran immediately. It was one shaky step at a time, with falls and stumbles along the way, but each attempt built strength and balance. Life works the same way. The first step you take toward your vision may feel unsteady, but it is proof that you are moving, proof that you are alive and growing. Courage is contagious. The moment you take action, you inspire yourself and others around you. People begin to see possibility in their own lives because of your willingness to begin. That is why the first step carries so much power. It doesn't just change your direction, it changes your identity. You stop being someone who only dreams, and you become someone who dares. Even if the step is small, it holds the weight of transformation. Progress is often misunderstood as something dramatic, sudden, or grand, but in reality, it is the quiet accumulation of small, deliberate steps that creates true transformation. When we look at people who have achieved greatness, whether in business, sports, art, or personal growth, it might seem as though their success arrived overnight. But if we dig deeper, we always find years of consistent effort hidden beneath that appearance of sudden achievement. Just as a tree grows silently, nourished by sunlight and water day by day, our progress is built not in a single leap, but in countless small actions that steadily carry us forward. Imagine learning a skill like playing the piano or mastering a language. It is not the result of one intense day of practice, but of repeated dedication, returning to the keys or the books day after day, even when progress feels invisible. Over time, these small sessions compound until what once seemed impossible becomes second nature. This is the power of consistency. When people chase instant results, they often grow discouraged when those results do not come quickly. They start with enthusiasm, expecting big leaps, but when reality sets in, they quit too soon, believing they lack talent or opportunity. In truth, they only lacked patience and consistency. A marathon runner does not train by running 40 kilometers in one attempt, but by gradually building stamina through regular practice. Each small run may not look significant on its own, but combined, they prepare the runner to achieve what once seemed unthinkable. The same principle applies to every area of life: fitness, career, relationships, or personal dreams. Small, consistent actions are the foundation of growth, and it is only when we respect this process that we unlock our full potential. It is also important to recognize that consistency teaches discipline and builds resilience. When we commit to small actions each day, even when we do not feel motivated, we strengthen our character. It is not the large, flashy actions that shape who we are, but the quiet choices we make in private when no one is watching. Waking up early to study, choosing to exercise when it is easier to rest, or committing to kindness in difficult moments may feel insignificant, but over time, these actions define the person we become. They create habits, and habits form identity. Eventually, progress is not something we force ourselves to pursue. It becomes a natural expression of who we are. This approach also removes the pressure of perfection. When you focus on small, consistent actions, you do not need to achieve everything at once. You allow room for mistakes, learning, and gradual improvement. Each step forward matters, no matter how small it seems, because each step brings you closer to where you want to be. Instead of chasing overnight success, you begin to enjoy the process itself, finding satisfaction in the daily progress and confidence in knowing that small actions done consistently will eventually lead to extraordinary results. Patience and persistence are often overlooked in a world that celebrates speed, shortcuts, and instant results. Yet they are the very forces that transform ordinary steps into extraordinary outcomes. When you commit yourself to a path, the first few steps may feel slow, uncertain, and even frustrating. You might not see visible progress at once, and doubt may creep in, whispering that your efforts are not worthwhile. But it is in those quiet, unseen moments of persistence that the foundation of greatness is being built. Patience allows you to accept the pace of growth without losing faith, while persistence ensures that you keep moving forward despite obstacles, fatigue, or setbacks. Together, they turn what feels like a struggle today into a triumph tomorrow. Think of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike of the hammer may look insignificant, as though nothing is changing, but after hundreds of precise strikes, the shape begins to emerge, and eventually a masterpiece is revealed. Without persistence, the sculptor would abandon the work long before the vision came to life. Without patience, frustration would replace creativity, and the dream would be discarded. This is the same truth in life. Every dream requires time to unfold and a steady heart that does not give up in the waiting. Greatness is rarely the result of one bold effort. It is born from the quiet determination to keep showing up day after day, step by step. Patience is not simply waiting, but waiting with a positive attitude and unwavering faith in the process. It is easy to feel discouraged when others seem to advance faster or when results take longer than expected. However, impatience often leads to giving up too soon or making reckless decisions that compromise the long-term vision. Persistence, on the other hand, demands endurance. It pushes you to keep going when motivation fades, when challenges appear endless, and when failure knocks you down repeatedly. Every time you rise again, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. Over time, this persistence transforms your mindset, building confidence and resilience that no one can take away from you. The most remarkable achievements in history are testimonies of patience and persistence. Inventors, leaders, athletes, and artists did not achieve success in one attempt. They endured countless failures, rejections, and hardships, yet they refused to stop. What set them apart was not extraordinary talent, but extraordinary persistence fueled by patient faith in their journey. By embracing these qualities, you begin to see every obstacle as part of the process and every delay as preparation for something greater. Step by step, you turn challenges into stepping stones and time into your ally. Ultimately, patience and persistence remind us that the journey is as important as the destination, and that the slow, steady path often leads to the most lasting and meaningful success. Failure is often seen as something to be feared, avoided, or even ashamed of, but in truth, it is one of the most powerful teachers in life. When we attempt something and fall short, it does not mean the end of the journey. It simply means we are being shown another way to grow, another perspective to consider, and another chance to strengthen ourselves. Every failure carries with it a lesson hidden beneath the surface, waiting for us to pay attention. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" the better question is, "What can I learn from this?" That shift in mindset changes everything, because failure then becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. It becomes fuel for persistence instead of a reason to quit. Think about the lives of innovators, athletes, or leaders who inspire the world today. Behind every success story is a trail of setbacks, mistakes, and disappointments. Thomas Edison tested thousands of filaments before he discovered the one that worked for the light bulb. Each failed attempt was not wasted. It was a lesson that brought him closer to success. Athletes train for years, facing losses and injuries, yet those failures refine their skills and harden their determination. What separates those who eventually succeed from those who give up is not the absence of failure, but the decision to keep moving forward despite it. Failure, then, is not a wall that blocks us, but a doorway to growth if we have the courage to walk through it. Failure also teaches humility and resilience. When things do not go as planned, we are reminded that success is not guaranteed and that mastery takes time. It humbles us by showing that effort alone may not always bring instant rewards. But it also strengthens us by proving that we can survive setbacks and still rise again. Resilience is built in these moments, when the weight of disappointment could crush us, but instead we choose to stand tall and take another step. Each failure endured with courage becomes a layer of strength added to our character. Over time, we begin to view failure differently, no longer as something that defines us, but as something that refines us. The truth is, failure is evidence that we are trying, that we are stepping out of our comfort zones, and that we are daring to pursue something greater. Those who never fail are often those who never try. Playing it safe may avoid pain, but it also avoids growth, and without growth, dreams remain distant. By embracing failure as part of the journey, we remove its power to paralyze us. We learn, we adjust, and we keep moving forward with sharper focus and deeper wisdom. Step by step, every failure becomes an ally in shaping us into stronger, wiser, and more determined individuals, ensuring that when success does arrive, we are truly prepared to hold it. Discipline is the bridge that connects intention to action and transforms fleeting motivation into lasting progress. While motivation can inspire us to begin, it is discipline that keeps us moving forward when enthusiasm fades and obstacles appear. In the journey of doing something step by step, discipline ensures that each step is not dependent on mood, convenience, or circumstance, but on a steady commitment to the path we have chosen. It is the quiet force that makes us wake up early when the bed feels warm, that makes us practice when distractions are loud, and that keeps us focused when giving up seems easier. Without discipline, dreams remain wishes, but with it, even the most ambitious goals become achievable through consistent effort. The power of discipline lies in routine. When we build habits that align with our goals, progress becomes automatic. A writer who commits to writing a few pages every day may not notice immediate results, but over months, those pages become a book. A student who studies daily without cramming eventually masters complex subjects with clarity. A person who commits to daily exercise, even in small amounts, gradually transforms their body and health. None of these changes happen overnight, but discipline ensures that the small actions compound into significant achievements. It is not about doing something once in a while with intensity. It is about doing it regularly with consistency, even when it feels ordinary. Discipline also guards us against distractions and temptations that can derail our progress. The world is full of noise, offering countless shortcuts, excuses, and easier paths, but discipline strengthens our ability to say no. It allows us to prioritize long-term rewards over short-term comfort, choosing to work instead of scrolling endlessly on a phone, choosing to eat healthily instead of indulging in unhealthy cravings, or choosing to practice skills instead of wasting time may seem small in the moment, but these decisions shape the direction of our lives. Discipline gives us control over our actions instead of letting circumstances or impulses control us. Another remarkable quality of discipline is that it creates momentum. At first, taking daily steps may feel forced and difficult, but as discipline becomes a habit, the effort begins to feel natural. Over time, it requires less willpower to stay consistent because the routine itself carries us forward. What was once a struggle becomes a lifestyle, and progress begins to flow almost effortlessly. This momentum is what makes people unstoppable. They no longer rely on bursts of motivation because discipline has already created a rhythm that keeps them moving forward regardless of challenges. Ultimately, discipline is a form of self-respect. It shows that we value our dreams enough to work for them consistently, that we trust ourselves to follow through, and that we are willing to endure discomfort for a greater purpose. Every step taken with discipline is a declaration that we are serious about growth. Step by step, discipline transforms effort into habit, habit into character, and character into destiny, proving that with discipline, there are no limits to what we can achieve. Step by step, you are not only moving closer to your goals, you are also shaping the person you are becoming. Every action you take, every choice you make, and every effort you give does more than build results. It builds you. The process of pursuing something meaningful is never just about reaching a destination. It is about the transformation that happens within you along the way. When you commit to taking consistent steps, you develop resilience, patience, strength, and wisdom that no achievement alone could give you. In truth, the real reward of any journey is not only what you achieve, but who you become through the struggle, the discipline, and the persistence required to get there. Imagine climbing a mountain. At first, the focus may be on reaching the top, the breathtaking view, or the sense of accomplishment waiting at the summit. But as you climb, you discover something deeper. Each step teaches you endurance as your muscles ache, patience as the path feels long, and courage as the trail grows steep. By the time you reach the summit, you are no longer the same person who began the journey. You have grown stronger, more determined, and more aware of your own potential. The climb did not just give you a view, it gave you transformation. This is the essence of life. Every step we take toward our goals reshapes us from the inside out. When you choose to keep moving forward, even in the face of setbacks, you develop a mindset that refuses to be defeated. This inner strength becomes part of your character, influencing how you handle future challenges. The discipline you build by taking consistent steps spills over into other areas of life: your work, your relationships, your habits. Over time, you begin to realize that the steps you take do not only create external achievements, they cultivate an internal foundation that will support you for a lifetime. You become more confident because you have proven to yourself that you can endure difficulties and still progress. You become more focused because you understand the value of patience and persistence. You become more compassionate because you know the struggles behind every success. Each step also shapes your perspective. When you look back, you see how far you have come, and that realization fills you with gratitude and encouragement. It reminds you that growth is not about giant leaps, but about steady movement. This perspective helps you face future challenges with less fear, because you already know that step by step, you are capable of moving mountains. With every choice to keep going, you are writing the story of your life, not as a person who waited for luck or miracles, but as someone who created their own path through consistent action. The beauty of this process is that it never ends. As long as you keep taking steps, you keep evolving. The journey of life is not about standing still or waiting for change to happen. It is about embracing the responsibility of shaping yourself one step at a time. Step by step, you are not just chasing a dream. You are becoming the kind of person who can live it fully,